The second generation, Maharaja Dharma Dhurendra. Maharaja Dharma Dhurendra was a great king of that country with capital Bhojkat Darawar. He was the founder of Lodh Vansh and greatest builder of the fame of Kashyap Gotra. He cared and fostered his subjects like his own sons and daughters. He gave away in charity countless cows, houses, clothes, and bountiful of food grains and other articles to the needy. He held the marriages of many damsels of his kingdom and saw to the well-being of many families and encouraged his people to lead a life of prosperity and contentment. He had a very deep religious nature. The king ruled according to the best tenets of Dharma. All his subjects were happy, healthy, and virtuous. They regarded Maharaja King Dharma Dhurendra, an incarnation of God, because he was very truthful, efficient in the administration, and always ready to help the poor and downtrodden. But he felt very much perturbed because he had no issue. His queen Maharani Maya Sundari was a pativrata, faithful wife. The king loved her more than his life. She was always ready to serve the Rishi Munis, sage and saints who visited their kingdom. In the absence of a child to rear and look after, the king and the queen went on a countryside tour. By chance, they came to an ashram, forest abode, of a Yogeshwar, great yogi. The king was wonderstruck to see the ashram of the yogi in the atmosphere of Gyan, knowledge, Vairagya, detachment, Bhakti, devotion, and Tyag, sacrifice at the ashram. The king felt carried away by the emotion of Bhakti. The king and the queen offered fruit, etc. at the feet of Yogeshwar and presented most respectful pranam, salutation. The Yogiraj saw them and observing their respectful attitude asked them to sit. He inquired, "O king, how are you here?" The king said with folded hands, "O Yogeshwar, I have come to your ashram on hearing your great fame to have the dust from your feet. We live at Bhojkat, Darawar, Kundanpuri. My name is Dharma Dhurendra and the queen's name is Maya Sundari." The Muni remembered, "O king, you seem to be somewhat perturbed." The king replied, "O master, there ought to be no reason for worry, but I am not able to know as to who will look after our kingdom when I am gone. God knows what type of a king the country will have, because I have no son." The yogi said, "O king, you have received Ashirvad blessings from so many saints. Your dynasty is also great, which has the honor of having so many great rulers, yogis and virtuous persons. O king, I advise you because you are a follower of Dharma. If you do not take steps according to my directions, then you would see that you will get an untruthful child. See, O king, Raja, King, Singhavati of Sialkot maintained Guru Goraknath and his 1400 disciples in his garden, guarded by armed soldiers for 24 years. It was only then that he could have a great, saintly and talented son like Puranmal, who won name and fame for himself and his dynasty, and ultimately achieved moksha, deliverance. Hearing these words, the king and the queen began to shed tears, and they put their crowned heads at the feet of the yogi. The yogi said, "Your politeness and dedication has melted my heart. Now listen to my words carefully. O king, you and your wife shall have to sleep on the grounds for 3 years. You would take only vegetable roots and fruits. All royal privileges will be shunned You shall earn your bread with the sweet sweat of your brow. You will perform tapasya standing on your toes or your feet. You will observe strict Brahmacharya celibacy. Daily bath in the Ganga is essential. O king, as your tapasya will gain momentum, there will be Shakti, strength, in your bhakti, devotion. When the climax of tapasya, austerity, will be approached, even the throne of the Creator will begin to tremble. Only then you could deem your efforts nearing completion. O king, from Anupshahar to Putpuri Pushpavati, in the dense woodlands, many immortal yogis roam about. Those who are most fortunate have their darshan sight. This cycle has been going on since the beginning of the universe. But whenever such a darshan is secured, it is with a great bang. Remember, in the ancient times at Anupshahar, there has been the great upholder of truth, King Chakveban. At Kundanpuri was born Rukmani, the incarnation of Sita. At Putpuri Pushpavati was born Dhruv, the model of determination. As a matter of fact, yogis wander about in the whole of the area wherever they like. They know no boundaries or limitations, but the above region is their favorite haunt. These yogis are sometimes found coming out of the Ganga or washing their intestines or licking the bones of some lion or eating some dead animal. I am trying to draw a picture of the power of and capacity of yogis. They are sometimes found bathing in the form of a child. If such yogis give you prasad, you should understand that you have become entitled to the Putreshti Yagya, a yagya for getting a son. And then king and queen went back to their palace with the permission of the yogi after duly offering Shashtang Pranam, prostrate salutations at his feet. From that time onward, the king and the queen regulated themselves to the life ordained by the yogi, as if a lion couple had been enclosed in a cage. As the king advanced in bhakti, so his Yog Shakti also developed. The moment pointed out by the yogi kept on drawing near, and the throne of the Creator began to tremble. One day, the king and the queen were going to take bath in an unfrequented ghat bank of the Ganga. God's grace was favoring them. They saw that an immortal yogi was eating the flesh of a dead deer. Their delight knew no bounds. The couple folded their hands and stood on one foot each. After a moment, the yogi saw them and beckoned them to come near. They went running. The yogi gave them a handful of the dead deer's meat. The couple respectfully took it, executed a Shashtang prostrate pranam once again and returned to the ghat for bathing. When they opened out the prasad, it was found to be the most tasteful food, the like of which they had not tasted in life. After eating, they came to the palace. They had molded their life such that remembering the Guru became a constant part of it. After some time of tapasya and Guru's Ashirvad blessings, they got a son named Satyadev. Dharma Dhurendra was not an ordinary king. He was true to his vow. He never went back from his word. His Guru's name was Jhilmila Teertha. In Kundanpuri, there is a Mela fair at the Ambikeshwar temple in the month of Falgun, near about Holi in March-April. Kavars, pitchers, are offered on that occasion. Once on this festival, all the citizens were busy in taking their bath. The crops were fluttering with ripe grain. Suddenly King Dharma Dhurendra saw a cloud in the sky. It was completely laden with hails. The king realized that if the cloud hailed, the entire crop would be destroyed, resulting in a widespread famine, hunger and suffering for the people. So he repeated the Guru mantra and meditated upon the Guru's mental image. He collected all the clouds of the sky and made it fall into the Ganga. The people were wonderstruck and extremely thankful to the king for this wonderful feat. After this, they began to regard the king as a god's own incarnation. When the king had fulfilled all his desires completely, the Tapasya of his previous birth began to boil in his self. The king exclaimed, "O God, I performed hard Tapasya for continuing my dynasty and having an uninterrupted rule in the country. Guru Maharaj fulfilled that desire of mine too. What have I to do now? When our ancestors could not carry this kingdom and property with them, well, would I carry it?" The queen was perturbed to see the king's mental state of renunciation, and she asked, "O Lord, why would you keep sitting the whole nights?" After much persuasion, the king replied, "Rani, queen, my heart is spinning to relinquish my throne." The queen fell at his feet and said, "O king, this is something conducive to moksha, salvation. Descendants or the kingdoms do not immortalize a man's name. O king, if you do not take me to the forest along with you, I will immolate myself as sati, sacrifice, because I am a pativrata, faithful wife." The king was very much satisfied and impressed that the spirit of renunciation in the queen was even stronger than his own, because he had determined to relinquish only the throne, whereas the queen's spirit was totally sacrificing. Consequently, the king and the queen, after conferring, invited their Guru Jhilmila Teertha. After Shashtang Pranam, they seated him on the throne, and after serving him meals, they prayed, "O Gurudev, now our heart is no longer attached to this kingdom. We want to go to the forest of Bankhandi for Tapasya." The Guru kept quiet for some time and then said, "The flower of the Tapasya and good actions of your previous births have blossomed now to the full. Your thoughts are most deserving and appropriate, and you are lucky to be so. Now you should have the coronation of your son with full rites and ceremonies, and bless him." The king obeyed him, and all arrangements for the prince's coronation were made. And according to the orders of the Guru, Raj Tilak, royal anointment, was performed. The poor got whatever they wanted in charity from the retiring king and queen, particularly foodstuff and clothes. When they were free from these ceremonies, the king and the queen put on saffron clothes. Then they bowed to the Guru for the last time, and seeking his profuse blessings, requested, "O Guru, give us the power and capacity to maintain the honor and dignity of this new life. We shall now never return to this Bhojkat, Darawar, Kundanpuri. This is our unshakable vow of Suryakul family." And with these words, the king and the queen took their way to the forest.